Hi everybody and welcome to Husky Talk with UCTV Sports. Today I'm very glad to be joined by UConn baseball head coach Jim Penders. Thanks for being here.
Great to be with you, Noam.
So today we'll be discussing all things UConn baseball, including off the field matters, on the field matters, and of course the field itself. So without any further ado, let's get right to it. Coach, what are your takeaways from this offseason so far?
Well, it's been a real busy. I don't really consider it an off season as much as it's our fall season, and it's been very busy. This summer was busy on the road recruiting and trying to capitalize on our success, and we had a lot of really good kids visit campus. Some nice commitments come our way, and then we've gotten into a fall segment where we haven't had a field to play on this fall. It's for good reason. We're going to have a beautiful one very shortly in the springtime, but. All fall, we've had to shuttle the guys from here to Eastern Connecticut State, right down the road. But it's been more cumbersome than usual, just trying to get over there each day for our workouts. And the guys have kept a great attitude about it. And our hosts over there have been incredible. They've been, Coach Ham and his staff and Coach Wojcik over there, and all the people in the administration have just the grounds crew, everybody from the grounds crew to the maintenance guys. They've welcomed us with open arms. So we've got some quality neighbors down there in Willimantic, and very fortunate to have them. But it's been a very busy off season, and I like our group. Everybody asks, "Hey, how are you going to be?" And I never know until late April anyway, right. Or sometimes mid-May. But they have a good attitude. I like the flavor to them. There's a lot of new bodies out there, a lot of newcomers, not just freshmen, but a lot of transfers. So we're going to see some new Huskies in the spring, but so far so good.
Who are some of those newcomers that have impressed you so far?
Well, there's a few guys. I don't like talking about freshmen, but there's one freshman in particular that really burst on the scene at first base, and his name's Reggie Crawford. He's got a really good hit tool. He can also pitch a little bit. He runs it up there to 93 on occasion with a left, very, very good left-handed arm. But he's going to see. I think he's going to get a great opportunity at first base. He's impressed us with his offensive approach. He's got good feet around the bag too. He does a good job defensively. So he's one of the newcomers that really opened our eyes. Zach Bushling, another junior college guy from California. We kind of brought him into hopefully be a Mike Woodworth style player, a guy with some versatility. We can move around the infield most likely. Going to stay in the infield, don't know exactly where yet, but he could certainly do the job at second base or third, even spell, or even could potentially do it at shortstop. And that's kind of our biggest question mark heading into the season, is who's going to play shortstop on a regular basis. Nick Croth, right-hander, another guy from the West Coast. He's got a kind of a Jeffrey Kirsten quality about him. He's going to get a lot of early outs, throws a lot of strikes. So those are a few of the guys that impressed. Justin Willis is another one who transferred from Vanderbilt, who unfortunately endured a fall-ending knee surgery at an ACL. But he's going to be very good. If he heals up according to plan, he's a guy that you're going to see in the late innings. He could close things out for us and do a good job.
There's a couple of names there that you mentioned, Jeff Kirsten and Woody, that last year graduated from UConn, and we'll get into more of that a little bit later. But some of the new talent that's going to be replacing that crop is also some transfers. Austin Peterson, Ben Kasparius, Justin Willis, and Eric Stock. Are you able to say anything about their eligibility for the upcoming season?
Yeah, the one of those guys isn't. He just committed, but and I don't even know if I can talk about him. So one of those guys is not with us yet, but. The kid Stock, Eric Stock, he's got a chance to be really, really good for us immediately. He's a two-way player. I really like his bat. He's got some bat speed, gets extension through the baseball. On the mound, though, he's got an arm that just really looks like he doesn't try hard to do it, and it comes out great. He was coming off a Tommy John surgery that he had during his time at Old Dominion, and so they didn't really get a chance to use him last year on the mound. He's a guy I think he's going to run it up there in the mid-90s when he's healthy. His first time out this fall, in his first outing in front of us, it was 90 miles an hour, and it just looked easy. So he's got a couple different breaking balls that he can throw as well. And then Ben Kasparius, Ben was the premier player in Connecticut out of Staples in his graduating class. We tried like heck to get him up here on a visit. We couldn't entice him even to come visit us. Back when he was at high school, he committed early to North Carolina, but we really liked him as a player. He also is a two-way guy. Impressed us most on the mound. He's a guy who could be in the front end of our rotation. He was that special this fall. So he's a guy who we're going to expect a lot of on the mound if he's cleared, and we're still working on waivers with both those guys right now, Stock and Kasparius, and we're hopeful that we're going to get them, but we can't plan on having them just quite yet.
All right, and it sounds like there's a lot of versatility with some of these new guys, which is really good and valuable for a program, in the Northeast where you never know when games will be canceled, postponed.
Yeah.
Might have to play 3 in 3 games.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we can move some pieces around. There'll be some, Pat Winkle's going to catch the bulk of the games behind home plate, and his brother Chris is going to be in the middle of our lineup somewhere, and most likely in center field. And we have some good veterans back. I mean, even like a Paul Gazzo is going to serve a much bigger role, I think, this season coming up. Even though Pat's going to do a bulk of the catching, Paul's bat's going to find its way in the lineup. Christian Fedko is busy healing up an elbow. His brother has shown us really nice flashes of power. So there's some nice pieces, and then we've got some other guys, like you mentioned, that have versatility that we can hopefully move around.
So you guys played fellow Northeast opponent URI and then Academy of Baseball from Canada. How much were you able to take away from these games, these fall ball games?
Yeah, not a ton, frankly. I mean, I thought we got more out of when we were playing, when our hitters were going against our pitchers. I thought that was the best competition that we could face. And so we did a lot of inter-squads. We got a ton of at-bats and a ton of innings this fall. We needed to do that just to kind of see what we had. But I thought the URI, we took some things away from URI in that we went on the road. Oftentimes that doesn't happen until the springtime, and you're getting off a bus for the first time. And it looked like we weren't used to it. We were terrible in the first 3 innings, and then we kind of loosened up and played very well the rest of the day down there, and scored more than they did the rest of the day. But it was good to see a different uniform. And then the Canada game, we've done that for a couple different reasons. They're younger kids, and we'd like to potentially recruit some of those kids. We have recruited some of them in the past, hasn't worked out, but I don't know how much, moving forward, I don't know how much we're going to be doing those in the future. There is a value to it, but I wasn't that disappointed when we lost the game to the weather with Niagara, because that allowed us another inter-squad to play. So you get double the at-bats, double the innings pitched when you play yourself as opposed to somebody else. But there was a value in seeing different uniforms and at least going through a pregame routine the way that we would in the spring.
Yeah, and you said that sometimes you don't get to travel until the spring, and once the spring comes around, you guys travel a lot. The first 7 or so weeks of the season are on the road, down to Arizona, to Florida, every single weekend. But this year, when you finally return home, you'll be returning to the brand new Elliott Ballpark.
Yeah.
What are your impressions so far of the new stadium being put up on campus?
Yeah, I walked the property with Doug and Sheila Elliott last week, and I'm emotional, and we haven't even gotten it done quite yet, but certainly haven't played a game, haven't hit a ground ball on it or anything like that. But I'm going to be a mess, I think, when that place opens. It's just been such a long time coming. Our first meeting on the facility was held in Doug Elliott's boardroom then when he worked at the Travelers Tower. We were up in the Travelers Tower overlooking downtown Hartford in November of 2003. So you're talking about a very long time, 16 years. It's going to be 16 and a half before we actually get that thing open, but it's all going to be well worth it. It's going to be a state-of-the-art. It's going to be the best college facility in the Northeast, no doubt about it. When we finish the building, the RISA Sports Performance Center, that's going to be along the left field line. That's going to be a tremendous asset too, because it's going to provide us a home. And I wasn't all that concerned with capacity. We're going to be able to host regionals. We'll be able to bring in temporary seating to be able to host regionals. The lights are going to be capable of doing that. And then we have this berm that I did not anticipate in the right field. I think fans are going to love it. I think the students are going to love it. It's a gorgeous, huge, I think you could put 10,000 people on it. I mean, So there's going to be no problem with capacity in this ballpark. And it's always going to look full. With a berm, if the berm's empty, it looks just like a berm. There's no empty seats there. But when you fill it with blankets and with lawn chairs and bodies, that place is going to be electric. And we're just very excited about calling it our home and can't wait to play in it.
Yeah, it's going to be a big step up. I mean, Joe Christian Field, serviceable, but quite frankly, it was more like a high school field than a college field. And so now you guys, state-of-the-art ballpark, top of the Northeast. How much does that mean for the program in general?
It's going to be a tremendous asset. You know, I've said this in the past. You know, we're recruiting 15-year-olds in some cases now, 16 and 17-year-olds, and you know, young people they like stuff. They like to see it. You know, you can talk to them about what you're going to do, and you can show them our major leaguers, and you know, give them an opportunity to see, hey, you're really going to develop here as a player, and this is one of the top public schools in the country, and all that good stuff. And they do, you know, but when you show them, like, I'll be honest, we walk across the student recreation center now, and we've gotten 2 commitments within 15 minutes of kids walking out of that building. And that is so powerful when you can actually be in it. We've been showing them pictures for a long time of this facility. We can actually walk Elliott Ballpark and go in the dugouts, and the kids can envision themselves in the batter's box or on the pitcher's mound. That's going to be so much more powerful than I think I can even anticipate. One of the things that we're going to have to guard against is that, you know, one of the things that we've really based our whole program on is a blue-collar work ethic. So I'm also going to be very cautious of not getting spoiled, you know, because we need to continue to recruit the same kinds of kids. Maybe some of the kids that might be attracted to the stuff aren't our types of kids either. So we're going to have to be very careful in how we move forward and making sure that we're still true to our roots, you know, our DNA, what really makes us up. But you know, but it's going to be a heck of an advantage too.
Yeah, it's an interesting point because, like you said, the blue collar mentality, playing in the Northeast is definitely a different breed than playing, you know, down south or in the ACC. So it's gonna be really exciting. Obviously, for students, it's exciting. There's gonna be a ballpark that people want to come out to. There's gonna be a program that people have wanted to watch, but didn't necessarily have the draw to go out and leave class or get to a game at 2 p.m. on Tuesday. But now you guys are going to be able to play night games. You know, first one scheduled for April 1st. It's going to be exciting for students after their classes are done, be able to come down and watch some baseball on campus and be excited about it.
Yeah, we're hopeful that eventually it's going to be cold. It's still going to be cold, and we're going to still have to have a lot of grit to play there. But we're hopeful that we're going to be able to make that berm into a destination for the students so that in the future, and this won't be right away, but we're hopeful to be able to do something like fire pits out there or some grills and, you know, really kind of make it a gathering spot for spring on campus for late in the school year, but a chilly spring on campus.
Well, 16 years in the making, that Elliott Ballpark it's going to be great. So exciting thing for students to look out for sure. Now you guys start the 2020 season down in Scottsdale, Arizona in the MLB 4 tournament against Cal Poly, and then immediately followed the next 2 days by the 2 programs that played in the national championship this year, national champion Vanderbilt, and then runner-up Michigan. And then the following weekend, you guys play Michigan again in a 3-game set in Florida. So UConn baseball, it's going to be on the map, bang, start of the season, just like last year when you guys took 2 of 3 from Louisville. How much does that mean, and what's it going to be like playing in that type of atmosphere?
Well, you know, it was happenstance that we knew that we were playing really good programs when we were asked to join that tournament, which was actually kind of popped up. We wouldn't have been able to do it if it weren't for Gary Gilmore at Coastal Carolina allowing us to. I mean, we made a commitment to him to go to Coastal Carolina and open our season there in a tournament. And I asked him, I said, hey, we got an opportunity to go. And he was fantastic about us saying, hey, come another year, it's okay. You got to do that. You know, you got to do the MLB 4 thing. There's only 4 of you that get invited by MLB. You better do it. And so thankful to him that we were able to do it, make the commitment. And, you know, you wind up with, I was in Omaha. I saw Michigan play in the first game out there. And, you know, they go on an amazing run and get into the final. And you're seeing, you know, Vanderbilt and Michigan in the final. I wanted to release I knew that we were going to be playing in this thing for months. I wanted to release it then, but they waited a little while longer to release it, but I don't think it's hurt any of the momentum, or we're going to capitalize on playing those people. We need, you know, Cal Poly is very good too. They're a top 75 team year in, year out. They're very good. So we're going to have 3 big time tests right away out of the gate, and that's just how we've seemed to do that every year now. Last year it worked out. We were fortunate. We took a series from a great Louisville team, another team that wound up in Omaha, and that really gave us a bounce. But it is just the first weekend too. You can't overemphasize it. But I know that's the most important game on the schedule is the one we're playing against Cal Poly, because that's the next one we play. So,
right.
And then after that, Michigan for 3 at Port St. Lucie. The Mets have been fantastic with hosting us down there. The Wilpons, Mr. Wilpon is a Michigan grad, and with our relationship with SNY, we've been invited along with Michigan to use their complex down there. We're going to be able to play the games in the stadium, which is just great, against a really quality opponent. So, yeah, 6 of the first, 5 of our first 6 games are going to be against the national champ and the national runner-up. I don't think anybody can say that in the country but us.
Do you think that helps your team's confidence? I mean, not necessarily winning all those games, but playing competitive and seeing live arms that are going to be, in the MLB one day. Do you think it plays a role in the season's success later down the road?
Yeah, you hope so. And in our conference, it's you have to play those people early because you're going to see them in April and May. So let's see what we're up against. I don't really believe in tiptoeing into, Dick Vitale would call them Cupcake City teams early in the basketball season. It's the same thing with baseball. You can hide behind a padded record for only so long, and eventually you get exposed. So we just hope to hit the ground running. We're going to have some big time tests, but I know the guys are going to be. The flip side of it is, I know they're going to be fired up to play too. So they should be fired up to play no matter who's on the schedule. But there's a little extra added incentive when you're playing a Vanderbilt, a Michigan, a Cal Poly early on.
That schedule continues throughout the year. You guys are facing that, that even year murderers row, UCF, ECU, Houston, Tulane, all at home. American Conference, it's a really strong baseball conference, top to bottom, a lot of good programs. Is it mixed emotions at all that this is the last season in the American before heading back, home for basketball, essentially, home to the Big East?
Sure, yeah, there are. We've developed some good relationships with the guys in this conference. It's an extraordinarily competitive baseball conference, one of the top 5 year in, year out in the country. Can't say that about the Big East. We're coming into a different Big East than we left. We left it. Louisville was in the Big East. Notre Dame was in the Big East. There was a different flavor to it, but there also are some really good programs still in that conference. So there are mixed emotions. I joked to Coach Blankmeyer, Coach Shepard, longtime friends of mine at St. John's and Seton Hall. I said, well, back to really good Italian food and some good bagels on the road too. We don't get those when we're going to Greenville, North Carolina, or to New Orleans or to Memphis. So we're looking forward to eating a little better. Looking forward to the quality of life is going to be a lot better, and that we're going to be able to get these guys back in their beds before 4 a.m. on a Monday when we come back from some of these places that we've been coming back from in the American. We're going to be able to take bus rides as opposed to plane trips. So that's going to be nicer. Maybe the coaches and I have a better chance of staying married. That's a good thing. I think it's going to be definitely a lot better that way, and it's still a quality league. And the other thing is we're team players here. We think it's the best thing for the university. We think it's the best thing for the Division of Athletics. So therefore, we've got to be for it, and we've got to be enthusiastic about it. We're going to make the most of it. No matter what house you have, no matter what neighborhood you're in, you got to take care of your house, and that improves the neighborhood. So we think we're going to improve the neighborhood, and we need to keep working to do that. And that's kind of the mindset that we had in the American, and that's the mindset that we've got to bring to whatever conference we're in.
Do you think you'll still be able to set up matchups with some of these teams that you've developed good relationships and played competitive series with?
Yeah, we already have actually. South Florida, Coach Mole at South Florida has agreed to play us, I think, in 2022, I believe. We've got them on the schedule. And we've been very aggressive at scheduling out to like 2023 even. Some of our early season trips, capitalizing on where we are right now as a program. Recently listed amongst the top 30-something programs in the country in one publication. We want to use that national recognition to, schedule out and ensure the fact that we can continue with a strong RPI moving into the Big East.
And that national recognition has certainly picked up a lot over the last couple of years. You've coached a lot of current major leaguers, George Springer, Nick Ahmed, now Anthony Kay. The list goes on and on. Matt Barnes, Scott Oberg. What's it like watching those former Huskies play in the pros, especially George Springer, and Matt Barnes, who's been in the last 3 World Series?
Yeah, it never gets old. Whether it's the World Series or just flipping around, on a Tuesday night in July, being able to flip around and see all those guys on my television, it's incredible. It really is. And our summers get so busy where we're just going and trying to find the next crop of Huskies, and it's hard to look back. Coaches don't do a great job of looking backwards. We like to look out the windshield.
Yeah, you're always looking at the Cal Poly, the next game on the schedule.
Right. So but it is a treat when you go home and you have a few hours just to watch a couple games, and whatever channel you change to, there's a good chance one of your guys is in it, and that goes for not just the players that played for me as a head coach, but I'm really excited about Bob Schaefer. Is a guy who played here in the mid-'60s. He was a big part of the starting shortstop on the College World Series team in 1965. He's a teammate of my father and my uncle. Was at my dad and mom's wedding, actually. Bob Schaefer's a special advisor to Mike Rizzo of the Nationals. So we had another Husky win a World Series. He's been in professional baseball for most of 5 decades. Wow. Consecutively, and this is his first World Series ring. So while we were disappointed for George, we were happy for Mr. Schaefer. So there's all kinds of guys in front offices and ticket offices all over Major League. So it's a lot of fun. Just kind of seeing the Huskies all sprinkled all throughout Major League Baseball.
It means a lot to Connecticut baseball as a whole.
Yeah.
Now, last season you guys had a number of graduates that are now playing in the minor leagues. Woody, like we talked about, CJ Dandino, Anthony Prado, the shortstop, who's a hole you're going to have to fill, and then, of course, Jacob Wallace, the closer, he really pitched really well. How much are you able to follow these guys and communicate with them during their minor league seasons?
Well, Coach McDonald's kind of our master of media, all media, and he usually texts me when somebody does something great. He seems to know, it's like he's got 17 phones or something, and he knows what's going on all the time with all of them. So I get to cheat, and he usually texts me when they do something great. He makes me look good. I can send them a congratulatory text, but I do try to check their stats. If not every morning, then almost every morning, the box score from the night before, and it's a lot of fun. It takes a lot of time now. When I first started, I could do that in about 2 minutes, and now it's a good. It takes a full coffee to get through all of the guys in the minor leagues. But
it's a good issue to have.
It's a nice problem to have. But again, you also want to balance that with you can fall into that trap of just looking at those guys and feeling good about yourself for a few minutes, and that takes the focus off what's important now, and that's getting ready for the next game and winning it. So. But I do allow myself that luxury of checking up on them, and we stay. I'll tell you, text is a great tool because it seems to be the least intrusive. When they get off the field, they've got a couple from me or one from me, and they can answer back at their leisure. Some of these pitchers, though, they're texting me while the game's still going on. So from the clubhouse, they're texting me after they're out of the shower or something. So I try to wait till the end of the game now.
Great. Well, it's definitely exciting as a fan of the UConn program. Obviously, I'm only a sophomore, so I don't know the history. I don't have that much of a connection as many do, but seeing these guys succeed, having met them last year and spoken with them a little bit, it's really exciting. And definitely great for the UConn program that you've really built a lot over the last 16, 17?
Yeah,
somewhere around
this is
17, whatever.
17th season
a
coming
while.
Up. Yeah, a long time.
You've built it to a great spot, and being a student, I take
you.
a lot of pride in being able to cheer on the Huskies, and so thank you for that.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Now, the last thing before we close is we're going to move into a few rapid-fire questions.
Uh-oh.
No pressure here.
All
so,
right.
first and foremost is, what's your favorite spot on campus?
Well, it used to be J.O. Christian Field, and so now I don't know where my favorite spot is. The Dairy Bar is a close second to whatever baseball thing I'm going to come up with.
Did you read my question? Because my next one was going to be, what's your favorite Dairy Bar flavor?
Is it Jonathan Supreme? I think that's my favorite. It's the one that's like the Moose Tracks, right?
I think it's
Husky
Tracks.
Husky Tracks.
There we go.
That's the one I like. Jonathan Supreme's got peanut butter, if I'm not mistaken. Ooh. That's pretty good too.
Sounds good. What's your best memory as the head coach of UConn baseball?
There's not one that I can point to, but I would have to say my favorite days as a UConn coach, I think, would surprise most people, and it's usually at former players' weddings. Like, to be invited to their weddings and to actually, for them to care that much about their experience at UConn. Those are the nights where you get goosebumps and I can't take the smile off my face. So having, being a part of these guys' lives, forever, hopefully, is those are my happiest days, my happiest memories as a coach, of being at those guys, being at so many former players' weddings and having them come back on campus and give back to the program. Those are the things that mean the most to me.
It's really a family experience.
Yeah, we like to think, I never want to, I try not to use that word because, your family is your family, but and that's the most important thing, but there's something special about the people that we're the Hooks see, and they know what goes into our everyday efforts here, and for them to come back and like I said, just give back to the program really means a lot to me.
Now, my last question for you is, if you could describe the 2020 team in one word, what would it be?
I don't know yet. It's too early. One word, potential. Potential.
Well, it's definitely very exciting. A lot of potential, a lot of very exciting things coming for UConn baseball. Coach Penders, thank you so much for joining us on Husky Talk with UCTV Sports. I'm Noam Watt. Have a great day, everybody.